happening now.
Devastated, sick to my stomach. There are no words.
The sheriff beside himself. A former deputy the focus of national anger. Why didn't he go after the Florida high school gunman? New at 11, the list of failures grows. Another problem revealed with the cameras inside the school during the rampage. And inside the safest school in America. Extreme drills, extreme surveillance. And if all else fails, there's this.
CBS5 News at 11 starts now.
Good evening. We're about to end the work week with a new system capable of creating some problems across central New York. Let's get the very latest on a weather alert. Here's meteorologist Molly Matat.
Yeah, as we just wrapped up that snowfall from today, where some spots saw several inches, now it's a different threat. Still some slick spots possible, not from snow, from cooler temperatures and from a tricky mix that will start to fall tomorrow. This winter weather advisory, it's for the highest elevations of the Tug, places like northern Oneida County and places south and east of Syracuse. This is where we will be the coolest come tomorrow morning and afternoon. That means as new moisture makes its way in, it may start as a light mix for some of us, but it switches over to rain. Except for these spots, that cold air hangs on a little bit longer and we could be seeing some icing and some very slick spots. Right now we're quiet on Triple Doppler, brought to you by Falso Service Experts, but everyone is at or below freezing and we drop into the 20s overnight. So you will want to maybe take it easy early tomorrow morning. If you want to be on the safe side, put some salt down before you go to bed. Temperatures gradually ease up. We get into that mix and then we switch over to soaking rain. And we go mild in the 7-day forecast. We'll time it all out for you coming up. Michael.
Thanks, Molly. Just after 11 o'clock now, here are the top 5 stories on CBS 5 News. Breaking tonight, calls to pull the pension and benefits of the former school resource officer who could have saved lives when seconds mattered but did nothing instead. Tonight, deputies are patrolling former Deputy Scott Peterson's home in Florida, and he's due a taxpayer-funded retirement. His annual salary in 2016 was about $75,000, but he made more than $100,000 with overtime. New at 11, as the flu continues to spike across the state, an emergency executive order now extended by the governor, allowing pharmacists to give the flu vaccine to children ages 2 to 18. Last week, more than 18,000 cases of the flu were confirmed statewide. That's the highest weekly number since the reporting started 14 years ago. Tonight, the Onondaga County Sheriff says he disagrees with a state watchdog group's claim that the jail he oversees is among the worst in our state. He told CBS 5 tonight he was caught off guard by the report, shocked by some of the allegations. The report claims that the jail suffers from inmate overcrowding and staff deficiencies. The sheriff says he's preparing a response for all of this and will understand why he disagrees in the coming days. New video tonight from Oneida County, where the weather is blamed for a rollover crash in Deerfield. Authorities say the driver was able to get himself out by smashing out the back window with a wrench. That car had slid off the road and flipped onto its rooftop in a ditch off Crosby Manor Road.
To be able to race for him in these Olympics was very special for me, and I tried everything I could to win for him.
After finishing her likely last Olympics, skier Lindsey Vonn paid tribute to her grandfather, who served in the Korean War. She scattered his ashes at the top of a mountain in South Korea. After winning her bronze medal in the downhill, she burst into tears. She dedicated this Olympics to her granddad. Tonight, the school resource officer who was on duty during last week's massacre in Parkland, Florida, is suddenly retired. His choice to leave his job after he got suspended. Let's get the facts first on CBS 5 News at 11. The school resource officer, 54-year-old Scott Peterson, was suspended without pay after the sheriff's department reviewed video recorded during the shooting. The sheriff says Peterson was elsewhere on the campus when the shooting started and remained outside of a building for 4 of the 6 minutes the shooter was firing his assault rifle, killing 17 students, teachers, and coaches, and injuring another 16. Peterson resigned today. Back in 2014, he was named Broward County's School Resource Officer of the Year, hailed at the time for his reliability in handling issues with tact and judgment. Here's the Broward County Sheriff now.
What I saw was a deputy arrive at the west side of Building 12, take up a position, and he never went in. Devastated, sick to my stomach. There are no words. I mean, these families lost their children. We lost coaches.
And so what should be done?
Went in, addressed the killer, killed the killer.
CBS 5's Mary Keeler is with the live eye at the Onondaga County Sheriff's Department tonight.
Michael, Central New York parents are sounding off on this tonight, and so is the Onondaga County Sheriff. He says he hopes he never has to tell people in this community that one of his deputies failed to act in such a critical moment. Armed school resource officers are supposed to offer parents a measure of comfort. Tonight, the news from Florida is stunning.
He should lose his job. He really should lose his job, because that's what parents are, parents are counting on that. They have this individual in their school district that they think is going to be come between them and anything bad.
That is his job. I mean, normally his normal day is doing absolutely pretty much nothing, because nothing ever happens. But when it does happen, that's what he's paid to do. He's paid to go in there and protect the children.
Onondaga County Sheriff Gene Conway says active shooter training is constantly happening here for law enforcement.
I'm sure that school resource officer doesn't feel well at all, but each state, each area is different in their training requirements. I wouldn't have the school resource officers in the schools that we do if I didn't feel extremely confident in their abilities.
He says he hopes as a sheriff he will never have to tell people that an officer didn't do his job, saying a split-second decision to either spring into action or stand by should be an easy one.
My purpose is to have every single patrol officer receive that same consistent training so that we try to remove any possibility for errors or any possibility of poor judgment.
The Onondaga County Sheriff says that an active shooter situation demands immediate action, and as this Florida shooting investigation continues on, he says he'll be leading the charge here for more armed officers in more schools. Live in Syracuse, I'm Mary Keeler.
Okay, Mary, thank you. There is a growing list of failures, or at the very least, troubling revelations in the Florida school shooting case. Tonight, investigators revealed a communication failure led police to believe they were tracking the gunman in real time on security cameras, when in fact, they were looking at footage from 20 minutes earlier. There were red flags in the suspect's behavior, from killing animals to having a cache of weapons to disruptive behavior to saying he wanted to be a school shooter. Local authorities in Florida answered about 20 calls about the suspect over several years. The FBI got a tip last month, but didn't follow it up. And there was another FBI tip last year after a disturbing comment on YouTube. No follow-up there either. Tonight, we're taking you inside a place some call the safest school in America. A place where security experts have done everything they can think of to stop an active shooter from killing people. It's a high school in Shelbyville, Indiana. That's about 27 miles southeast of Indianapolis. Jeff Rossen reports.
Security breach.
At Southwestern High School in Indiana, the kids drill.
I see they're all running past this red line. What is that?
The red line is a security measure, and that's in place because if we stand behind this red line, if there's a shooter at the door, they cannot see the children.
And this is something schools can do right now. There's a red line on the ground.
Absolutely.
But here they go high-tech too. The classroom doors are bullet resistant, and cameras, so many cameras everywhere. And it's not just school officials watching either. They're connected live with the sheriff's department 10 miles away. Authorities can track an intruder in real time.
Every teacher here, you have your own panic button.
Yeah, we all wear a fob in case there's a security breach. We can push this button and the entire alarm system goes off in the school.
And something else I actually want to show you real quick. When that happens, every classroom has a box like this, also hooked up to the sheriff's department. The teacher can flip help if they actually see the suspect or they're in danger, or they can flip safe if the kids are safe.
In 2015, I tested it, playing the intruder.
Showing a male subject in a blue suit.
If I was a real intruder, I couldn't get into a single classroom. They're all locked. Every last one of them.
But the biggest counterattack is yet to come.
He's walking towards exit 14. I'm going to launch the hot zone.
The school's secret weapon, called hot zones. Exploding smoke cannons hidden in the ceiling. Cops can deploy them in an instant.
Whoa. There is smoke. It is loud, and it's meant to disorient the suspect. I mean, look at this. The smoke is filling the hallway. You can barely even see me.
Whoa.
The other amazing thing is they're watching the suspect on real-time cameras, so no matter where the suspect goes, they can keep setting off these hot zones so he stays blind.
The system is expensive, $400,000, but school officials say worth it in this scary new world.
And here's what we've learned about the cost Jeff just mentioned, $400,000. The Virginia company that designed the system paid for most of it as a pilot program that it hopes to sell to other districts. Right now, the president proposing putting teachers on the offense, having those who are trained carry guns on campus. Meantime, the New York State Sheriff's Association tonight calling on state lawmakers to fund in the next budget at least one armed school resource officer at every grade school and high school across the state. The president of that organization tells CBS5 this will be an expensive undertaking, but we owe it to our children and their parents to provide a safe place for education to take place. As for the issue of arming teachers, the president of the Syracuse Teachers Association isn't on board. Tonight, she tells CBS5 News giving teachers a gun, it's a bad idea.
We teach children we're not prepared to shoot them. I absolutely can't imagine having a former student of mine. I can imagine a former student of mine coming in and doing something dangerous far more easily than I can imagine any one of my colleagues picking up a gun and shooting a kid that we taught.
Tonight, at least 4 states are considering legislation that would allow teachers to carry a concealed firearm in school. 8 states already do.